Rain splattered against the wall-to-ceiling windows of Jaxel Fox's penthouse. The city below blurred into streaks of gold and grey. Somewhere behind those lights, stories ended, dreams began. Hearts broke and rules shattered. But up here, tonight, everything paused. Lily stood by the glass, shivering in her thin black dress, hair pinned up but tendrils slipping loose. She pressed her palm to the cold pane, eyes locked on her reflection. Was she out of her mind? Maybe. But nothing had ever felt this real. Jaxel's voice broke the silence, deep, velvet, steady as always. "You're quiet, Lily." Second thoughts. She turned. He was there, broad-shouldered, silver-haired, shirt open at the collar, sleeves rolled. He looked like every woman's fantasy and every father's warning, but his gaze was gentle. She could drown in those eyes. She whispered, "Are you afraid?" Jaxel stepped closer. The gap between them felt electric. Every man fears something. "I fear hurting you, Lily. I fear the world tearing you apart for loving me." She smiled, heart pounding. "I've never cared less what the world thinks." He reached out, slow, as if waiting for her to run. She didn't move. Their hands met. His touch, warm, strong fingers tracing hers with the care of a man who'd learned that everything precious can be lost in a moment. Her breath caught. His thumb swept over her knuckles. He asked, "If you say yes tonight, there's no turning back?" She stepped into him, feeling every heartbeat. Yes. In that instant, the city faded. There was only this room, this man, this choice. Age meant nothing. Reputation, rules, whispers, meaningless. Have you ever wanted something so badly you'd risk it all, your comfort, your pride, your reputation? What would you sacrifice for real love? For the touch that makes your heart stutter? For the person who sees every scar and still chooses you? Maybe you've felt it. Maybe you've stood on the edge, torn between fear and desire, wanting to leap but terrified to fall. Maybe you've wondered if loving the wrong person could ever feel so right. Tonight, Lily chooses honesty over safety. Jaxel chooses risk over regret. Their love is slow, forbidden, built in shadows and soft light. Some say it's wrong. Too much age, too much difference, too much risk. But who decides what's too much? Not the world, not tonight. Will you stay and watch how far Lily and Jaxel will go? Will you see how gentle love can break every rule and still feel like coming home? Welcome to Mr. Leonardo's Stories. If you're new here, or if you've been searching for a story that isn't afraid to be raw, true, and deeply passionate, this is your channel. I want to say thank you. Your support means everything. I ask you now, please subscribe, like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and help this story reach others who believe in second chances. Because here, we don't judge love by numbers. We judge it by courage. And tonight, you'll see why. Lily Jones had always known hunger. Not the kind you cure with bread, but the ache for a chance. The kind that keeps you up at night, that turns rejection into rocket fuel. She'd graduated top of her class, but resumes only go so far in a city like New York. The skyline outside Bryant and Fox's lobby mocked her with promise, each glass tower whispering, "Prove yourself or go home." The marble floor stretched ahead, impossibly clean. She could hear every step, each heel strike echoing in her nerves. Lily straightened her skirt, double-checked the neat ponytail she'd fussed over, and smoothed a palm over the folder clutched to her chest. One shot, she told herself. Make them remember you. The receptionist gave her a once-over, sympathy in her eyes maybe. You're here for the assistant interview? Lily nodded, throat dry. Yes, Jones. Lily Jones. Have a seat, Miss Jones. Mr. Fox will see you soon. She sat, heart pounding. Around her, the office buzzed, phones ringing, men in sharp suits trading, numbers in low voices, women in crisp blouses glancing at their watches. But on the top floor, the glass-walled elevator doors slid open, and it all faded. A place above the noise, above the city. Her stomach twisted as she rode the elevator up, 37 floors, each second dragging. The doors opened on a carpet so soft she barely heard her own feet. A single door stood at the end of the hall, oak and glass, gold letters, Jaxel Fox, CEO. She almost laughed. The name sounded like something out of a novel, and maybe it was. Jaxel Fox, the legend. The stories said he could close a deal with a handshake, end a career with a glance. Some called him cold. Others said he was generous, but never let anyone close. She knocked. Once, then again. Her pulse hammered. "Come in." His voice was deep, smooth. It settled her, even as she opened the door and stepped inside. The office was all steel and sun, floor-to-ceiling windows, bookshelves lined with old volumes, and one black-and-white photo of a woman and 2 children on his desk. Behind it sat Jaxel Fox himself. He looked up, eyes the color of storm clouds, silver at his temples, suit perfect. He didn't look at her resume. He looked at her. "Miss Jones." He said it like he'd known her name forever. She stood tall. "Thank you for seeing me." He gestured to the chair across from him. "You're fresh out of college. Why here?" She met his gaze. "Because no one here knows me. Because I want to earn my place, not inherit it. I don't want a job. I want a life that matters." He arched a brow, silent for a long moment. "What do you know about this company?" She answered without hesitation. "You build brands people trust. You don't do shortcuts. You make your own rules." He smiled, barely. "And what makes you think you can keep up?" She let herself breathe. "Because I've had to fight for everything. I don't quit. Ever." He studied her, as if weighing her words against something she couldn't see. Then he leaned back, fingers steepled. "Convince me you're more than what's on this paper." She swallowed. "Ask me anything." He did. Not about grades, but about mistakes. "Tell me about a time you failed." Lily told him about the internship she'd lost, how she'd picked herself up, started again. About the professor who said she wasn't cut out for finance, how she'd proved him wrong. Jaxel listened, really listened, never interrupting, never judging. He asked about her family. Her eyes softened. "My mom cleaned houses. My dad disappeared before I could remember. Everything I've done is for her, to show her that we can break the pattern." Jaxel's face changed, just for a second. He nodded, then stood. "Walk with me." Confused but willing, Lily followed him down the hall. They passed busy assistants, all eyes dropping as the boss strode by. He led her to a window overlooking Central Park. "You remind me of someone I knew," he said, voice softer now. "Someone who didn't get a fair shot, but made one for herself anyway." She looked at him, saw for the first time the lines at his eyes, the weight he carried. Not just a CEO, but a man who knew loss. Maybe that's why, when he turned to her, she felt safe. "Why should I take a risk on you, Miss Jones?" She met him, chin up. "Because I'll never make you regret it." A beat. The city spread out below them, endless, waiting. He nodded once. "Start tomorrow, 8 sharp. Don't be late." She almost burst with relief. "Thank you. You won't be sorry." He smiled, really smiled. "We'll see." As she left, heart pounding, she caught his reflection in the glass, watching her go, unreadable. Lily's first night in her tiny walk-up apartment was restless. She called her mom. "I got the job." Her mother's voice wavered with pride. "I always knew you would." Lily stared at the cracked ceiling, hope rising in her chest. She was in, against the odds, against the whispers. Tomorrow, she'd prove herself. Tomorrow, she'd face Jaxel Fox, and the hunger in his eyes that lingered long after she left his office. Lily Jones woke before dawn, heart pounding with hope and nerves. She pressed her only crisp blouse, packed a plain lunch, and walked the busy streets as sunlight bled through the buildings. Every step closer to Bryant and Fox, her chest tightened. Today, she'd prove she belonged. But proving herself was harder than she'd dreamed. Her first week blurred. A storm of new names flooded inboxes, phones that never stopped. She spilled coffee on her own skirt before noon. She mixed up a calendar invite and nearly sent. Jaxel's client to the wrong address. Once, she printed reports double-sided instead of single-sided, earning a hard stare from the chief of finance. At night, she replayed every stumble. Was she cut out for this? Would Jaxel regret taking a chance on her? But the boss didn't yell. He watched. That was somehow worse. Jaxel Fox had a way of entering a room that changed the air. Quiet authority, not bluster. He never raised his voice, but when he looked at you, you wanted to do better. For yourself. For him. Each morning, she was at her desk before anyone else, memorizing files, learning routines, staying late to clean up her own mistakes. Sometimes she'd find a single chocolate square on her keyboard. Sometimes a sticky note with a simple message, "Keep going." She kept them all, tucked inside her bag, a secret fuel. One evening, the office lights thinned out until only her lamp glowed. Lily bent over a spreadsheet, blinking back exhaustion when Jaxel stopped by her desk. "Still here?" She startled. "Almost done, sir." He set a cup of tea down beside her. "No one learns everything in a week, Lily." She looked up. His tie was loosened, eyes shadowed by the long day. "I'm sorry about the mistakes. I want to be better. I want to be what you expected." Jaxel sat on the edge of her desk. He didn't scold. Instead, he spoke low, almost gentle. "You remind me of myself. Hungry, scared to fall, but more scared to quit." He told her about his first job out of college, how he'd dropped coffee on a client's lap, almost cost his boss a deal, and nearly quit out of shame. "But I stayed, because failure teaches you faster than praise ever could." Lily's voice wavered. "You never seem afraid." He smiled. "That's the trick, Lily. We're all afraid. The brave ones keep going anyway." Her chest loosened. In that moment, she didn't see a legend. She saw a man who remembered struggle, who knew what it meant to feel out of place. A silence stretched between them, warm and safe. Lily realized she liked this version of him. Unbuttoned, honest, tired but still here. She finished the spreadsheet, and when she handed it over, their fingers brushed. The contact was accidental, but it sent a thrill up her arm. He held her gaze, something unspoken simmering there. "Go home, Lily. Get some rest. You'll need it tomorrow." She lingered a second longer. "Thank you, Mr. Fox, for giving me a chance." He left, but not before glancing back, one last look, unreadable but soft. The days that followed grew easier. Lily stopped flinching at every mistake and started learning from them instead. Her confidence sharpened. She saw patterns others missed. She caught a billing error that saved the company thousands. Colleagues took notice, some with respect, others with side glances and whispered rumors. "She's got Fox's favor," she heard one afternoon by the printer. "No one moves up that fast without help." Lily ignored them, but the sting lingered. She worked harder, kept her head down. Sometimes she felt Jaxel's eyes on her from across the boardroom, not in a way that made her feel small, but seen. Late one Friday, as the city darkened and the cleaning crew wheeled past, Lily sat alone, massaging a cramp in her palm. She was about to leave when her phone buzzed. A message, "Conference room, now." Her stomach flipped. She hurried, nerves prickling. Inside, Jaxel stood by the window, sleeves rolled up, staring out at the lights. He spoke without turning. "Close the door, Lily." She did, quietly. "I heard what they're saying about you. Ignore it." His voice was low, protective. "People will always talk. Most of them are scared you'll outwork them." She nodded, but her shoulders drooped. "Sometimes I wonder if I belong here." He turned, studied her face. "You do. More than most." A pause. Then, softer. "This place can eat you alive, Lily. You have to decide who you want to be every day. Don't let anyone else choose for you." The moment lingered. His kindness was unexpected. The lines between boss and mentor, strict and gentle, blurred. He stepped closer, close enough she could smell his cologne, spice, rain, something expensive but understated. "Take tomorrow off. Rest. You've earned it." She almost protested, but his hand brushed her arm, light and fleeting. "Go live." Don't let work be the only thing that defines you. Lily swallowed, pulse skipping. Thank you, Jaxel. He smiled, real and tired. Good night, Lily. She walked home under city lights, his words echoing in her chest. That night, Lily lay awake, replaying every moment. Jaxel's patience, his stories, the way he saw past her nerves. For the first time since she'd started, she believed maybe, just maybe, she could make this work. And for the first time she admitted it wasn't only the job that kept her coming back. It was him. The Monday after her breakthrough, Lily Jones was called into Jaxel's office before most staff arrived. The city was grey with early autumn fog, but inside, everything felt sharp and clear. Jaxel looked up from his desk with purpose. We're flying to Chicago, he said. Client needs a pitch, and you know the numbers better than anyone. Pack for 2 nights. Lily tried to hide her nerves. She'd never flown for business, never travelled with a boss, let alone one like Jaxel Fox. He didn't seem fazed. Be ready by 11. She nodded, forcing her voice steady. Yes, sir. Thank you for trusting me. He studied her for a moment, almost as if he wanted to say something more, but only said, Don't be late. She rushed home, threw clothes in a small bag, and checked her notes twice. At the airport, Jaxel's driver met her, holding a sign. She rode in the back seat with her nerves, watching the city roll by. When they reached the private terminal, Jaxel was already waiting. Cool, composed, suit impeccable. You've never flown private, have you? He asked, voice warm with amusement. She shook her head, cheeks flushing. He smiled, softening. First time for everything, Lily. You've earned it. The jet was sleek and quiet. Once in the air, Jaxel settled into work mode. He reviewed slides, asking for her input. Lily felt her confidence bloom under his attention. He valued her ideas, even challenged her. By the time they landed, she almost forgot to be intimidated. The hotel in Chicago was pure luxury. Lily's room overlooked Lake Michigan, sunlight sparkling on the water. She barely had time to change before Jaxel texted. Lobby. 7:30. Dinner with clients. She chose a simple black dress and kept her makeup light. When she stepped off the elevator, Jaxel was waiting in a navy suit, tie loose, phone in hand. He glanced up and stilled. You look sharp, he said quietly. Ready? She smiled, nerves settling. Ready. Dinner was a blur of deals and laughter. Jaxel kept the conversation smooth, but always drew Lily in. He introduced her as the brains behind our latest campaign. She felt herself standing taller, words coming easier. The clients left impressed. Jaxel and Lily walked back to the hotel together in silence. Outside the lobby, rain began to fall, soft at first, then in sheets. Thunder rolled over the lake. Inside, guests hurried to their rooms. Lily stopped, watching water run down the glass. Jaxel joined her, hands in his pockets. Ever feel like storms are the universe's way of forcing us to pause? He mused. She nodded. Sometimes I think it's the only time I breathe. He looked at her then, really looked. What do you want out of all this, Lily? The job, the long hours, the risk? She swallowed, surprised by his openness. I want to prove I matter, not just here, but to myself. And maybe, I want to find a place that feels safe, a place I belong. He nodded, eyes softening. I know what that's like. For a moment, silence grew between them, not awkward, but full, the kind that crackles with everything unsaid. The lights flickered. The storm grew louder, wind rattling the windows. Jaxel gestured toward a quiet lounge off the lobby. Come on. Let's wait it out. They sat on opposite ends of a leather sofa. The city lights danced across the floor. For a while, neither spoke. Then Lily asked, voice low, Why don't you date, Mr. Fox? He gave a half smile. Most women see my age or my bank account. Few see me. She tilted her head, searching his face. I see you. His gaze flickered, caught, surprised, pleased. Careful, Lily. That's a dangerous thing to say. She didn't back down. Why? He leaned closer, voice dropping. Because I'm not sure I trust myself around you. Her breath caught. I trust you. A flash of lightning lit the room, followed by a loud crack of thunder. Instinctively, Lily jumped. Jaxel's hand reached out, covering hers. His grip was warm, steady. Neither moved for a moment. He didn't let go. Neither did she. He spoke softly. You don't have to be brave all the time. Lily realized her hand was trembling. I don't know how to turn it off. Jaxel's thumb stroked over her knuckles, gentle, grounding. You let someone else be strong, just for a while. They sat like that, the storm raging outside, two souls suspended in a bubble of truth. The world faded. The lines between boss and assistant blurred. His eyes searched hers, but he didn't lean in. Not yet. We should get some rest. Early start tomorrow. She nodded, almost disappointed. She pulled her hand back, but her skin tingled where he'd touched her. As they stood, he paused. Lily, you're doing more than proving yourself. You're making me see things differently. She smiled shyly. I'm glad. They parted in the hallway. No promises, no confessions, just the memory of his hand on hers, and the warmth that lingered long after. Lily lay in her hotel bed, listening to the rain. She replayed every moment, their conversation, his words, his touch. For the first time, she let herself wonder what it would be like to let go, to stop playing it safe, to fall, not just for the job, but for the man behind it. She fell asleep to the sound of thunder, dreaming of Jaxel's hand in hers and the storm that had brought them closer. Monday morning hit Bryant and Fox like a wave. Phones rang non-stop, meetings stacked one after the other, and the echo of last week's success buzzed through every corridor. But to Lily Jones, everything felt changed. The rain in Chicago had washed something loose between her and Jaxel Fox. Now, even the simple act of passing each other in the hallway was electric. She caught him glancing her way during the first staff meeting, his face unreadable, but his gaze lingering a moment too long. She forced herself to focus, scribbling notes, careful not to smile. Rumors simmered by the coffee station. She's getting all the big projects now. You saw her with Fox at the gala. He's never brought an assistant on a trip before. Lily ignored them, but it grew harder each day. She worked harder, earlier and later, always trying to outpace the whispers. Yet every time Jaxel walked by her desk, a pulse of heat traveled between them, unspoken, undeniable. Late one evening, long after most had gone, Lily worked in silence. She double-checked the campaign files Jaxel needed for an international client. Her eyes stung from staring at the screen. She was about to pack up when her phone pinged. My office. 5 minutes. She found Jaxel at his desk, the city glittering behind him. His jacket was off, sleeves rolled, tie loose. He looked tired, but when he saw her, he smiled. Close the door, Lily. She did, nerves sparking. He nodded to the seat across from him. I've been thinking about Chicago. Her heart skipped. It was different. Different is good. He paused. You did well. The client was impressed. I'm giving you more autonomy on the account. Pride flared in her chest, but another emotion, something hotter, more dangerous, twisted inside her. She remembered his hand over hers, his words in the storm. Thank you, she whispered. Jaxel stood, pacing to the window. His reflection hung in the glass, older, strong, a man used to control. There are rules here, Lily. Rules I made. Rules I've never broken. She swallowed, understanding. You don't want to give them a reason to talk. He turned, facing her fully. People talk anyway, but your career matters. I won't let my feelings get in the way of what you're building. Her throat tightened. What if it's not just your feelings? For a long moment, silence stretched, filled only by the distant city hum. Jaxel crossed the room, stopping a few feet away. He looked at her, not as a boss, but as a man fighting himself. It's hard for me to remember where the line is. You make it harder. Lily's breath hitched. It's hard for me too. He reached out, but let his hand fall. The restraint was almost painful. We can't lose ourselves to this, he said, voice raw. Not here. Not now. She nodded, understanding but aching. I respect you for saying that. He ran a hand through his hair, laughing softly. You make it hard to be the good guy. She smiled, tears pricking. Maybe we're both trying too hard. He stepped closer, too close. Their hands brushed, and the energy between them was almost unbearable. She could feel every heartbeat, every breath. I want you to know, he said quietly, I notice everything. The way you solve problems, the way you look at me, like you see more than a title. I don't take that lightly. Their eyes met, neither pulling away. Suddenly, the intercom buzzed. Jaxel cursed under his breath. He moved to his desk, pressing the button. Yes? His assistant's voice crackled through. The London call is ready for you. He glanced back at Lily. Apology, longing, everything they couldn't say in that moment. We'll finish this later. She nodded, rising to leave, her heart pounding. As she walked down the hall, her skin tingled from where his hand had almost touched hers. She wondered if he felt the same burn, if he lay awake at night, wrestling the same storm. The rest of the week passed in a blur. Lily threw herself into work, pushing past exhaustion, trying to ignore the ache of unfinished business. She grew sharper, more efficient, earning compliments from clients and staff. But the tension only grew thicker. One night, she stayed late, lost in spreadsheets. She didn't hear Jaxel until he was right behind her. You should go home. She turned, startled by how close he was. I lost track of time. He searched her face, something gentle flickering in his eyes. You need rest. She packed her things, hesitating at the door. Jaxel? He looked up. I'm glad you brought me to Chicago. He nodded. Me too, Lily. She left, heart thundering. That night, she dreamed of his hands, never quite touching but always close. Friday evening brought a shift. The office emptied for the weekend, laughter echoing down the halls. Lily finished her work, determined to get home early. But as she passed the glass conference room, she saw Jaxel alone, sleeves rolled, staring out at the city. He saw her, gestured her inside. She closed the door behind her. Everything okay? He nodded, but his eyes told a different story. Some days, the office feels too small. She leaned on the table across from him. Maybe you need a new view. He smiled, a tired curve of his lips. Maybe I need a new reason. Their eyes held, the silence heavy with longing. He stepped closer, close enough to touch. Lily, He broke off, struggling for words. I want you to know, I see you, not just as my assistant. As a woman, He caught himself, jaw tightening. As someone important. Her breath came fast. You're important to me too. For a long moment, nothing moved. He reached out and brushed a stray curl from her cheek. She closed her eyes, trembling. He let his hand linger, just a second too long. We have to be careful. She opened her eyes, tears shining. I know. He stepped back, the space between them filled with everything unsaid. Go home, Lily. I'll see you Monday. She nodded, voice thick. Good night, Jaxel. As she left, she knew they'd both spend the weekend aching for more. Alone in her apartment, Lily sat by the window, city lights reflecting in her eyes. Her body remembered every almost touch, every stolen look. She thought of Jaxel Fox, the man, not the boss. The man who watched storms, who listened when she was scared, who tried so hard to do the right thing. She pressed a hand to her chest. One day soon, she knew, they'd both stop holding back. But tonight, restraint was all they had. The annual Bryant and Fox Charity Gala was legendary, an event where fortunes and futures were made beneath glittering chandeliers. Lily Jones had never been to anything like it. She'd found a red dress on clearance, simple but elegant, hoping it was enough. The city lights outside her apartment seemed to pulse with anticipation as she slipped it on, heart thudding. She barely recognized herself in the mirror. For the first time, she let herself feel beautiful, not for anyone else, but for herself. At the entrance, the doorman eyed her with respect. Inside, the lobby buzzed with power, politicians, business tycoons, socialites. Lily searched the crowd for one face. Jaxel arrived late. His tux fit perfectly, silver hair gleaming, calm in the chaos. When he spotted Lily, his eyes widened, lips parting slightly. For a moment, the noise faded. It was only the two of them. "You look beautiful," he said, voice soft, just for her. She smiled, nerves melting. "Thank you. I was nervous I'd stand out for the wrong reason." He stepped closer, gaze lingering. "You do stand out, and it's for all the right reasons." Throughout the night, they kept their distance, professional, careful. But every time she caught his eye from across the room, heat flared between them. During dinner, he found his way to her table, sharing quiet words that only she could hear. Later, as the party shifted to the rooftop terrace, Lily wandered out for air. The city sparkled below, wind tugging at her hair. She closed her eyes, letting herself breathe, letting the night's magic soak in. "Too loud in there for you." She turned. Jaxel had followed, jacket slung over his arm. He leaned against the railing, the skyline behind him. She nodded. "It's beautiful, but I needed a minute." He stepped beside her, their arms nearly touching. "You remind me of what it's like to see everything for the first time." She glanced at him, surprised. "Even after all these years?" He nodded, watching her with quiet longing. "Especially after all these years." They stood in silence, the city alive below them. Lily spoke first, voice gentle. "Jaxel, do you ever wish things were simpler?" He looked at her, pain flickering in his eyes. "All the time. But I wouldn't trade this, what's between us, for anything easy." She moved closer, her shoulder brushing his. "Neither would I." He turned to face her, eyes searching. "Are you afraid?" She shook her head. "Not of you." He took her hand, slow and deliberate, his thumb tracing gentle circles on her skin. She felt every nerve light up. "I want you," she whispered. The confession slipped out, honest and raw. Jaxel's eyes darkened, voice low. "Lily, if we do this, we do it right. No secrets, no shame." She nodded. "I've never been more sure." He pulled her in, slow, giving her a chance to back away. She didn't. His lips met hers, soft at first, testing, then deeper. The kiss was everything. Hungry, desperate, reverent. He tasted of wine and longing, of patience held too long. His hands cupped her face, steady but shaking. She melted against him, letting go of every doubt, every rule. The city disappeared. All that mattered was the heat between them, the way his mouth claimed hers, the way her heart raced. He broke away, searching her face for hesitation. "Are you sure?" She answered with another kiss, hotter, surer. His arms wrapped around her, holding her safe as the wind whipped around them. When they parted, breathless, Lily pressed her forehead to his chest. "What now?" He smiled, fingers threading through her hair. "Now we stop pretending." A laugh escaped her, half relief, half disbelief. "I don't want to hide. I want to be yours." He tilted her chin, eyes shining. "You already are." They stood together, framed by city lights, two souls who had run out of reasons to stay apart. Inside, the party was winding down, but the fire between them only burned hotter. Jaxel found a quiet corner, guiding Lily with a gentle hand on her back. They talked about dreams, regrets, everything they hadn't dared to say. He told her about his first marriage, the pain of loving and losing, how he'd locked himself away for years building walls. "I thought I'd never let anyone in again," he said softly. "But you make me want to risk everything." She touched his cheek, voice trembling. "You make me feel brave." He kissed her again, deeper, slower, his restraint slipping. Her hands slid up his chest, memorizing the shape of him. For the first time, there was no line to hold them back. Later, Jaxel arranged for a car. "Let me take you home," he offered. She hesitated, then shook her head. "I want to be with you tonight. No more running." His eyes flashed, desire and relief mixing. He took her hand, holding it tight. "Come with me." In the car, silence pulsed with anticipation. Jaxel's thumb traced patterns on her wrist, never letting go. The city blurred by, every stoplight an eternity. When they reached his penthouse, he led her upstairs, keys shaking in his hands. Inside, everything felt different, softer, more intimate. He set his jacket aside, watching her with awe. "You're sure?" Lily nodded, heart pounding. "I want you, Jaxel, all of you." He crossed the space between them, kissing her slowly and deeply. She melted into him, the last of her fears dissolving. He carried her to the bedroom, laying her gently on the sheets. The world fell away. Tonight, they were done with restraint. Jaxel's penthouse was nothing like Lily had expected. No cold steel or sterile emptiness, just warm light, deep carpets, shelves of worn books, and floor-to-ceiling windows that revealed the pulse of New York beneath them. She set her bag down, heart beating in her ears, nerves and excitement warring inside her. He watched her for a moment, his gaze gentle but intense. "You're safe here. If you want to stop, say so at any time." Lily stepped closer, shaking her head. "I don't want to stop." Jaxel reached for her slowly, giving her time to change her mind. She didn't. His hands settled at her waist, drawing her in with a care that made her breath catch. Their lips met again, soft, searching, deepening with every heartbeat. He slid the pins from her hair, letting curls tumble down her shoulders. "Beautiful," he whispered, voice rough with need. She shrugged off her jacket, emboldened by the look in his eyes. His hands mapped her body, tracing her arms, her back, every touch gentle but sure. He took his time, exploring every curve as if she were precious. They made their way to his bedroom, moving together like they'd done this for years. Jaxel dimmed the lights, pulled Lily close, and kissed her slowly, unhurried. He slipped off her dress with reverence, pausing at every new patch of skin as if asking permission. She helped him out of his shirt, tracing her fingers over the silver at his temples, the strength in his chest, the scars and stories etched on his skin. He paused, searching her eyes. "Tell me what you want, Lily." She answered with a kiss, hands tangled in his hair. "I want you, all of you." He obliged, his hands gentle, guiding. His mouth found her neck, her collarbone, every spot that made her shiver. He whispered her name with every caress, asking, "Is this good?" and smiling at every gasp. She'd never felt so seen, so cherished. He listened to her body, slowing when she needed, teasing when she wanted more. He was patient, deliberate, and focused on her pleasure as much as his own. When they finally came together, it was slow and consuming, every movement careful, every sound honest. He held her close, never letting her feel alone or rushed. Their bodies tangled in the sheets, finding a rhythm that was theirs alone. After, they lay together, hearts still racing. Jaxel brushed damp hair from Lily's forehead, kissing her softly. "You're incredible," he whispered. "Stronger than you know." She smiled, stroking his cheek. "I never believed I could have this. Not with anyone. Not with you." He cupped her face, thumb tracing her jaw. "You're everything I never knew I needed, Lily." They held each other as the city glowed beneath them, rain pattering softly on the glass. For the first time in a long while, both felt truly seen, truly wanted. Later, wrapped in sheets, Lily traced lazy circles on Jaxel's chest. "Why me?" He smiled, sleepy. "You see me, not the money, not the title, just me." She leaned up, pressing a kiss to his jaw. "That's all I ever wanted." He pulled her close. "Stay tonight. Stay as long as you want." She nodded, safe in his arms. "I'm not going anywhere." The night stretched out, full of quiet laughter, gentle touches, whispered dreams. In the morning, the world would creep back in. There would be questions, looks, doubts. But tonight, all that existed was the trust and tenderness they'd found together. Surrender had never felt so right. Morning arrived soft and golden, sunlight spilling over Jaxel's bedroom, wrapping Lily in warmth. She woke slowly, blinking against the brightness, momentarily forgetting where she was, until she felt his arm around her waist, his chest pressed to her back, the steady rhythm of his breathing. She smiled, stretching carefully, not wanting to disturb the peace. Jaxel stirred, tightening his hold, murmuring against her hair. "Good morning, beautiful." Lily rolled to face him. His hair was tousled, and the lines around his eyes softened. He looked younger, almost vulnerable, as he studied her in the quiet. She reached up, tracing his cheek with her thumb. "You look happy." He caught her hand, kissing her palm. "I am, happier than I've been in a long time." For a while, they lay in silence, soaking in the comfort of each other. Lily's hand found his beneath the covers. He interlaced their fingers, pulling her closer, nuzzling her neck. "You're sure you're ready for this?" he asked softly, searching her eyes for any doubt. She nodded, sure. "Last night wasn't a mistake. I don't want to hide or run." Jaxel grinned, rolling on top of her. "Good, because I'm not letting you go, Lily Jones." He kissed her, gentle at first, then deeper, needier. The slow heat built between them again, easy as breathing. He worshipped her, every touch a promise. "You're safe, you're wanted, you're mine." They lingered in bed, tangled in each other, laughter mixing with whispers. After, Lily lay with her head on Jaxel's chest, listening to the steady thump of his heart. "I wish we could stay here forever," she murmured. He sighed, kissing the top of her head. "Me too. But the world is waiting, and we have to face it." They showered together, playful and sweet. Jaxel made coffee, while Lily wrapped herself in one of his shirts, padding barefoot through the penthouse. They ate breakfast at the kitchen island, scrambled eggs, toast, fruit, trading stories, teasing each other, feeling almost normal. Jaxel watched her, eyes full of something soft. "You make this place feel alive, Lily." She blushed, reaching for his hand. "Thank you for last night, for making me feel special." He squeezed her fingers. "It wasn't just last night. It's every night from now on, if you want it." Her heart swelled. "I do." But as she dressed and prepared to leave, reality crept back in. The job, the office, the looks they'd get. Jaxel saw her hesitation. "We can keep this private for now if you'd rather." Lily shook her head, voice steady. "I don't want to lie. I want to be judged for my work, not for loving you." He nodded, pride flashing in his eyes. "Then let's do it together." By the time Lily arrived at Bryant and Fox, the office was humming. Her confidence felt different, stronger, as she greeted the receptionist and took her seat. But the day was harder than she expected. Rumors moved faster than email. She was at the gala with Fox. She left early. With him? Is that how she got her promotion? Lily kept her head up, eyes on her work. She refused to give them what they wanted, a reaction. Jaxel kept his distance in meetings, but their eyes met across the room. He always looked at her with pride, never regret. Still, the whispers stung. Lily found herself working twice as hard, determined to prove she was more than a rumor. She took on extra tasks, volunteered for difficult projects, and stayed late, making sure every detail was perfect. But at night, when she got home, there was always a message waiting from Jaxel. "Proud of you. You amaze me, Lily Jones. Dinner tonight. My place. Always my place." Those messages became her anchor. Every night she went to him, their passion burning away the doubts and the world's judgment. They were gentle and wild, slow and desperate, never the same, always right. One evening, as they lay together in Jaxel's bed, Lily confessed her fears. "What if the board finds out? What if I lose everything?" Jaxel stroked her hair, voice unwavering. "I won't let them hurt you. But you've already proven yourself. They can't ignore what you've accomplished." She searched his face, needing to believe. "You promise?" He cupped her face, meeting her gaze. "I promise. We face it all together." As weeks passed, Lily's hard work paid off. She landed a major account, impressed a tough client, and won praise from department heads. The rumors didn't disappear, but people started to respect her, if only begrudgingly. Jaxel let her shine, never taking credit, always lifting her. Their relationship made her bolder, her work better. She stopped hiding, started living out loud. Still, the world outside was harsh. Paparazzi snapped photos. Blogs speculated. Even strangers on the street sometimes stared. But at home, it was just the two of them. No secrets, no judgment, only love. One night, after a particularly hard day, Lily arrived at Jaxel's penthouse, exhausted and raw. He opened the door, immediately pulling her into his arms. "Rough day." She nodded, face buried in his chest. He kissed her forehead, murmuring, "I've got you. You don't have to be strong here." She let the tears fall, letting him hold her until the world faded away. He drew her to bed, undressing her slowly, worshipping every inch of her. That night, they made love like it was the only thing that mattered, slow, gentle, deep. She realized this was home. Not the penthouse, not her title, but him. Together, they were enough, no matter what waited outside. It started with a blurry photo. Lily Jones leaving Jaxel Fox's penthouse at sunrise, hair loose, a small smile on her lips. By noon, it was everywhere. Billionaire boss and his young protégé. Is it love or ambition? Gold digger or go-getter? Inside the office, romance shaking up Bryant and Fox. The office felt different as Lily walked in. Conversation died when she entered. Phones stopped mid-ring. She kept her head high, but every step felt heavy. A colleague slid a tabloid across her desk. "You made the front page." Lily barely glanced at the headline. "I'd rather make headlines for my work." But it wasn't just gossip now. It was war. Some whispered that she'd slept her way to the top. Others watched her with something like envy, or maybe curiosity. The hardest part was the looks from people she respected, people who'd started to believe in her. Jaxel called her into his office mid-morning. He closed the door, his face carved in worry. "I'm sorry, Lily. This is my fault. I should have protected you." She shook her head. "You didn't do this. We didn't do anything wrong." He moved to her, taking her hands. "You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. If you want to step back." She cut him off, eyes fierce. "No, I'm not leaving. I've earned my place, and I won't let anyone take it from me." A beat passed, his pride plain. He brushed a thumb over her cheek. "That's my girl." They shared a quick hidden kiss before she stepped out, armor in place. By lunch, the story had gone national. Clients called in, some outraged, some amused. A few dropped their accounts. But one major client, a tech company on the verge of a huge deal, insisted Lily present the final pitch. "She's the brains behind your whole strategy, isn't she?" The CEO asked Jaxel, eyebrow raised. Jaxel smiled. "She is." Lily worked late, pouring herself into the campaign. Jaxel gave her space, but texted encouragement, always ending with, "I believe in you." When the day of the presentation arrived, the conference room was packed. Everyone expected her to stumble. She didn't. Her slides were sharp, her words sharper. She answered questions without flinching, handled criticism with grace, and closed the pitch with a bold promise. "We don't just sell your product, we sell trust. I know what it means to fight for that every day." The client smiled, impressed. "We're in." Applause broke out, hesitant at first, then louder. Jaxel watched her from the corner, pride shining in his eyes. He didn't step in. He let her take the credit. Still, the office climate stayed cold. People took sides. Some co-workers tried to trip her up with small sabotage, lost files, delayed messages, whispers in the hallway. Lily fought back by working harder. She started mentoring younger staff, sharing her skills, building a team that believed in her for real reasons. Gradually, respect began to outweigh suspicion. One night, as they lay together in Jaxel's bed, Lily confessed, "I'm tired of fighting." He kissed her forehead, arms wrapped tight. "You don't have to fight alone." She blinked away tears. "What if it never goes away?" He looked her in the eyes, voice steady. "It gets quieter, people forget, but I never will. I'll never forget how you stood up for us." They held each other in the dark, their bodies tangled, the city's noise fading outside. Their intimacy became a haven, a space where Lily could be soft, let her, guard down, be loved not for survival but simply for being herself. The board called a meeting. Jaxel sat at the head of the table, Lily beside him. One director spoke bluntly. This situation threatens our reputation. We need to address it, or the company suffers. Jaxel answered, unwavering. Our reputation stands on the work we do, not tabloid headlines. Lily's results speak for themselves. Another director pushed. You're putting her in an impossible position. Lily spoke up, clear and calm. I'm here because I worked for it. I'm not going anywhere. Murmurs rose, some in her favor, some against. But the deal Lily had landed, the biggest in months, silenced many critics. Jaxel put a hand on hers under the table. We keep going. On our terms. Afterward, they returned to his office. He pulled her close, voice thick. You amaze me, Lily. You always do. She smiled, leaning into his touch. I do it for us. Their lips met, slow and hungry, their bodies pressed close. He picked her up, carrying her to the couch, undressing her with careful hands. They made love like it was an act of defiance, slow, deep, fearless. After, she lay sprawled on his chest, spent but lighter. He whispered, no scandal will ever take this away. She kissed him, promising. We're stronger than any headline, and in that moment, she believed it. The storm at Bryant and Fox was nothing compared to the one waiting in Jaxel's personal life. His adult children, Jasmine and Leo, didn't read tabloids for gossip. They read them for evidence. That Saturday, Jaxel invited them to his penthouse, the intention clear. It was time for truth. Lily's nerves hit like ice as the elevator climbed. She had survived office rumors and media scandals, but this felt personal. Approval wasn't her goal. Respect was. Still, her hands shook as she straightened her blouse, steadying her breath. Jaxel met her at the door, squeezing her hand. You don't have to do this alone. She nodded, grateful for his strength. Inside, Jasmine waited by the window, her style elegant and sharp, her gaze even sharper. Leo stood by the kitchen, arms crossed, jaw tense. They both turned as Lily entered. Jaxel introduced her with quiet confidence. Jasmine, Leo, this is Lily. Jasmine nodded, polite but cool. Leo barely acknowledged her, eyes flicking away. Dinner was quiet at first, forks scraping plates, glasses clinking, conversation stiff. Jasmine asked about Lily's job, her past, her ambitions. Every question felt like a test. Lily answered honestly. I started with nothing. I worked hard for everything I have. I don't expect you to trust me overnight, but I hope you'll let me earn it. Jasmine's eyes narrowed, but there was a flicker of respect. Leo stayed silent, his wall high. Midway through the meal, Jasmine broke the tension. My father has always been careful. He never let anyone get close, especially after Mom passed. Why you? Lily met her gaze without flinching. Because he let me see the real him, not the CEO, not the legend. Just the man who listens, who cares, who's willing to risk his heart. Jaxel squeezed her knee under the table, pride in his eyes. Jasmine studied her, then smiled, small but real. He needs someone who sees him. Leo finally spoke, voice rough. You're half his age. You really expect us to believe you love him for him? Lily didn't back down. I can't change your mind with words. All I can do is show you. I care about your father. I care about you too. If you'll let me— Silence. Then Jasmine touched her brother's arm. Dad's happier than I've seen him in years. Doesn't that matter? Leo looked at his father, something in his eyes softening. I want you to be happy, Dad. I just don't want you hurt. Jaxel's voice was gentle but firm. I know what I'm doing. Lily makes me better. After dinner, Lily helped Jasmine clear the table. In the kitchen, Jasmine leaned in, voice low. You handled that well. Most people run from this family. Lily smiled, relief mixing with gratitude. Running never got me anywhere I wanted to go. Jasmine laughed, finally at ease. Welcome to the circus. Back in the living room, Leo approached Lily as she gathered her bag. He hesitated, then offered a handshake. If Dad's happy, I'll try to be happy too. She took his hand, squeezing gently. Thank you. When the kids left, Jaxel pulled Lily into his arms, his relief palpable. You were incredible. She grinned. the tension draining away. I thought they hated me. He kissed her, deep and grateful. You proved yourself, like you always do. They ended the night in his bedroom, undressing each other with care, the weight of the day melting away in slow, hungry kisses. Jaxel worshipped her with his hands and mouth, making love to her like she was the answer to every question he'd ever had. After being wrapped in his arms, Lily whispered, "Do you think they'll ever accept us?" Jaxel brushed her hair back, eyes soft. "They already do, and even if they didn't, I'd still choose you." Every time, Lily pressed a kiss to his chest, her worries eased for the first time in days. Over the weeks, Jasmine and Lily shared lunch, talking about work, life, and even Jaxel's stubbornness. Leo joined them occasionally, his initial distance fading as he saw how real their love was. The family grew, fractures healing, new bonds forming. Jaxel and Lily hosted quiet dinners, laughed over old photos, shared secrets and stories. Lily became part of the family, not just Jaxel's partner, but a daughter and friend. Their home was filled with warmth and light, love growing stronger than any firestorm the world could send. Life settled into a new kind of rhythm for Lily and Jaxel. The headlines faded, co-workers adjusted, and family dinners turned into laughter and stories rather than interrogation. But the quiet brought its own challenges. With the pressure gone, Lily and Jaxel finally had space to look inward, at themselves and at each other. One evening, the city glowed below the penthouse as Jaxel poured 2 glasses of wine. Lily sat curled on the sofa, legs tucked under her, flipping through an old photo album he'd left out. He joined her, watching as she traced a finger over pictures of him as a young man. Hair darker, smile still the same, eyes always thoughtful. There were photos of his late wife, children as toddlers, holidays in places she'd only seen in magazines. She looked up, searching his face. "You've lived so much, Jaxel. Sometimes I wonder if I'll ever catch up." He took her hand, serious. "You're here now. That's all that matters." Lily set the album aside, her mood shifting. "Can I ask you something? Anything?" She hesitated, then spoke softly. "Are you ever afraid you'll lose me? Or that I'll want something else, someone younger?" Jaxel cupped her face, his thumb tracing her cheek. "Lily, I've already lost a lot in my life. I know what real love feels like. It's not about age, it's about choosing each other, every single day." Tears pricked her eyes, emotions raw. "You make me feel safe, Jaxel, like nothing could ever break us." He smiled, pressing a kiss to her forehead. "That's the plan, but you can always tell me if you need more, or if I'm holding you back." She shook her head. "You're my future, not my past." They held each other close, the city silent beneath their window. Later that night, in the soft light of the bedroom, Lily opened up about her own past, the father who disappeared, the years spent fighting to belong, the fear she'd never be enough. Jaxel listened, never judging, his arms steady around her. He shared his own darkness, loneliness after losing his wife, the walls he built to survive, the years spent convincing himself he didn't need love. "But then you showed up," he whispered, tracing her collarbone. "And I started hoping again." Their lovemaking that night was slower, more vulnerable. Jaxel took his time, his touch gentle and reverent. He worshipped her scars as much as her strengths, showing her she was cherished in every way. Afterward, they lay tangled together, skin to skin, no barriers left. Lily pressed her face to his chest, voice muffled. "Promise me you'll never shut me out." He kissed her hair. "I promise, Lily, you're my partner now. No secrets, no distance." She smiled, peace settling inside her. "We're building something real, aren't we?" Jaxel nodded. "The real thing I've ever known." In the following weeks, their partnership deepened at work and at home. Jaxel sought Lily's advice on big decisions, trusted her with company secrets, and gave her space to lead major projects. Lily flourished, respected by her team, admired by her peers. They planned quiet weekends away, drives upstate, simple dinners, walks through city parks. Sometimes they just stayed home, making breakfast in pajamas, reading side by side. One Sunday, as rain tapped the windows, Lily looked up from her book. "Do you ever think about the future?" Jaxel smiled, setting his coffee aside. Every day. What do you see? He reached for her hand. You. Always you. Maybe a little more grey in my hair, maybe a slower pace. But as long as I wake up next to you, I have everything I need. Lily felt her chest swell with love. That's my dream too. As the seasons changed, so did they. Their love became a quiet strength, something unbreakable, forged in both fire and tenderness. Lily stopped worrying about what people thought, about the numbers or the whispers. What mattered was the bond they'd built, the trust they protected. Every night, as they fell asleep entwined, Jaxel whispered the same words, "Thank you for choosing me." And Lily always answered, "I'll choose you every day." Their love, once a slow burn, now blazed bright and steady, lighting a future that belonged only to them. Dawn in New York painted the city in shades of gold and silver. The air was cool on the rooftop of Jaxel's penthouse, quiet except for the distant hum of traffic and the soft flutter of pigeon wings. Lily Jones stood wrapped in one of Jaxel's shirts, arms folded, eyes on the skyline. She loved this hour. The city felt like it belonged to only them. Jaxel joined her, bringing hot coffee in 2 mugs. His hair was mussed, stubble shading his jaw, but his eyes shone with purpose. He set the mugs down, slipping his arms around her waist from behind. She leaned back into him, sighing contentedly. Could get used to mornings like this. He kissed her neck. Me too. I never thought I'd have this again. They stood in silence for a while, the city awakening beneath their feet. Lily felt his heartbeat against her back, steady, grounding. She sensed something different in his touch, a gentle urgency. He turned her to face him, hands warm on her arms. His expression was raw, vulnerable. "I've lived a long life, Lily. I've known loss and regret. I know what it's like to love someone with your whole soul, and I know what it's like to believe you'll never find that again." He paused, swallowing. "But then you walked into my life, and every day since you've given me hope, laughter, and a future I never thought I'd want again." Lily's breath caught. Tears pricked her eyes. "Jaxel." He held her gaze, searching for fear, for doubt. "I don't have a speech, Lily. I don't have a ring in my pocket. What I have is the truth. I love you. I want to spend the rest of my days, and my nights, with you." He took both her hands in his, voice thick. "Will you marry me, Lily Jones? Not for a name or a story, but for a lifetime of mornings and every ordinary day in between." For a moment, the city vanished. There was only him and the love that had changed her life. She blinked away tears, smiling widely. "Yes. Always." Jaxel's relief was visible, a laugh breaking through as he pulled her into his arms. Their kiss was hungry and desperate, full of joy and promise, gentle and hot all at once. He buried his face in her neck. "You've made me the happiest man in this city." She laughed, crying. "I should be thanking you. You saved me from loneliness, from believing I wasn't enough." He cupped her face, brushing away tears with his thumbs. "You are more than enough. You're everything." They lingered on the rooftop, wrapped in each other, as the city glowed with new light. Jaxel pressed his forehead to hers. "We'll do this our way. Small wedding, just family, and the people who matter." Lily nodded, grinning. "All I want is you." He kissed her again, slow, reverent, savoring every second. The rest of the world could wait. That morning, they returned to the bedroom, sunlight streaking the sheets. They made love with a new urgency, knowing this was forever. Jaxel moved with both fire and care, as if memorizing every detail of her body and soul. After, they lay tangled together, hearts steady, hands clasped. Lily whispered, "This is where I belong." Jaxel smiled, voice soft. "Home isn't a place, it's us. Always." As the sun rose higher, Lily felt the truth of his words settle deep inside her. The future was wide open, waiting for them, side by side. Jaxel and Lily's wedding was nothing like the city's society pages imagined. No cathedral, no limos, no press. Just a sunlit rooftop, close friends Jasmine and Leo by their father's side, and Lily's mother flown in from Georgia, tears shining in her proud eyes. Lily wore a simple white dress that floated around her ankles. Jaxel chose a blue suit with no tie, his silver hair catching the breeze. Flowers lined the railings, city towers rising like quiet witnesses all around them. The ceremony was brief, but every moment lingered. Jaxel took Lily's hands in his, looking at her as if there was no one else in the world. "You are my sunrise, Lily, the beginning of every good thing in my life," he said, voice steady but thick. She squeezed his hands, eyes shining. "You're my safe place, Jaxel. The reason I wake up strong and go to bed loved." Their vows were honest, promises to listen, to forgive, to choose each other every single day, even when life got hard. Jasmine read a poem she'd written for them. Leo, voice quiet, wished them courage. Lily's mother wiped away happy tears. "You chose a good man, baby. You made your own way." When it was time for the rings, Jaxel slipped his grandmother's gold band onto Lily's finger. She pressed her lips to his palm, her heart full. "You may kiss your bride," the officiant smiled. Jaxel pulled her close, pressing his lips to hers, soft at first, then deeper, both of them smiling through happy tears. The city below seemed to cheer. After the ceremony, laughter and music floated across the rooftop. Lily danced with Jasmine, spun by Leo and hugged by her mother. Jaxel watched her, joy etched in every line of his face. Their first dance was slow, arms around each other, city lights flickering in the dusk. Jaxel held her tight, whispering in her ear, "You make everything new." Lily leaned into him. "This is all I ever wanted." They shared kisses and stolen glances, hands lingering, heat simmering beneath the surface. It was clear to everyone. They were more than lovers, more than friends. They were each other's home. When the music faded and guests said goodbye, Jaxel swept Lily up in, his arms, carrying her inside, laughter ringing down the empty hall. He set her down in the bedroom, eyes dark with love. "Ready to make this official?" She smiled, heart racing. "Take your time. I want to remember every second." He undressed her slowly, savoring every curve, every gasp, every smile. She touched him with the same reverence, tracing the map of his life on his skin. They made love as husband and wife, slow, intentional, a promise in every touch. Jaxel was gentle but unafraid to show his need. Lily gave herself freely, her trust complete. After, they lay tangled together, the city quiet around them. "Married," Lily whispered, grinning against his chest. He laughed, kissing her hair. "Best decision I ever made." They fell asleep in each other's arms, rings gleaming in the moonlight. Days passed in a blur of happiness. Lily returned to work, her new name on the office door. Co-workers offered congratulations. Even the critics seemed to soften. Jaxel and Lily built their life with intention. Quiet breakfasts, shared. Routines, weekends away from the city. Nights of laughter and soft skin. Their wedding had been small, but the love it celebrated was bigger than any crowd. And as they closed each day together, they knew the best part was never the party or the applause. It was the quiet moments after, when all the world faded and all that remained was love. The morning after their wedding, Lily woke to the soft hum of the city and the steady warmth of Jaxel by her side. His hand rested at her waist, thumb tracing idle circles against her skin. She smiled, eyes closed, letting the newness settle over her. Married. It felt simple, inevitable, and right. Jaxel pulled her closer, nuzzling her neck. "You're stuck with me now." She laughed, rolling to face him. "I could get used to forever." They spent that morning tangled in each other. No rush, no obligations, just quiet kisses and lazy caresses. Jaxel worshipped her like she was his greatest treasure, making her laugh and moan until she forgot everything but him. Eventually they made breakfast together, dancing around the kitchen, hands lingering on bare skin, laughter echoing through the apartment. The world outside felt far away, but reality, as always, crept back in. When Lily arrived at Bryant and Fox that Monday, she felt the weight of every glance and whisper. Some co-workers offered genuine congratulations. Others kept their distance, eyes sharp and judging. A few magazines ran one last headline. CEO's young bride returns, love story or power move. Lily refused to let it touch her. She greeted everyone with a smile, focused on her work, and let her results speak louder than rumors. Jaxel did the same, his faith in her unshakable. They were partners now, in love, in business, and in life. Some nights, Lily worked late, pushing through new projects, building a name of her own. She mentored junior staff, encouraged nervous interns, and earned respect the old-fashioned way by showing up day after day. At home, life was softer. Jaxel often cooked dinner, steak or pasta, simple meals made with care. They watched movies, cuddled on the couch, took late walks through the city, and explored new neighborhoods hand in hand. Sometimes they fought about schedules, about work, about the normal pressures of blending two lives. But they always made up, apologies and kisses dissolving every tension. Lily loved how Jaxel made her feel, desired, protected, but also challenged and believed in. He gave her room to grow, even when it meant stumbling. She, in turn, kept him young, her energy and laughter filling the corners of his life he'd long neglected. As months passed, the world's opinions faded into background noise. Their families blended. Jasmine invited Lily to join her book club, and Leo started seeking Jaxel's advice again. Lily's mother visited often, delighted to see her daughter cherished. Lily's confidence soared. She closed a difficult deal, earning a promotion independent of Jaxel. The respect she craved became real, not just borrowed from his name. In their private world, the passion never dulled. They explored each other every night with new curiosity, sometimes playful, sometimes slow and intense, always safe and real. Their apartment became a haven. They filled it with music, flowers, inside jokes and soft lighting. Some nights they barely left the bed, savoring the closeness that only true trust allows. Other nights they opened old wounds, telling each other stories never shared before. Lily learned about Jaxel's childhood, the pain of his first loss, and the dreams he'd hidden. He listened as Lily confessed her fears, her old doubts, and the gratitude she felt for their life. One Saturday, Jaxel surprised Lily with a quiet trip upstate. They hiked forest trails, picnicked by a lake, and made love in a sun-warmed cabin. Jaxel brushed hair from her eyes, whispering, "You're the best thing that's ever happened to me." Lily kissed him back, heart full. "I'll never stop choosing you." Through every up and down, they held tight to the lessons that brought them together. Love is a choice, daily, intentional, honest. Respect is earned, but happiness is defended. Age, whispers, headlines. None of it means anything if you know who you are together. They'd walked through fire, stood against judgment, and emerged stronger. Every night, as they curled together beneath the city's glow, Lily knew. This was the real story, the one they'd write for the rest of their lives. The first sign was small. Jaxel rubbed his chest after a long day, brushing it off as stress. Lily noticed, concern flickering behind her smile, but he waved her off. "I'm fine, just tired." But the pain returned, sharper, making him pause mid-sentence during a meeting. He finished the day, but when he arrived home, Lily was waiting, arms crossed, worry etched deep. "Jaxel, you need to see a doctor." He resisted. "It's nothing." She stepped closer, voice firm. "I love you, but I won't let you ignore this. Please." "For us." Reluctantly, he agreed. The next morning, Lily took his hand in the waiting room, squeezing hard. The city buzzed outside, oblivious. Tests, scans, silence. The world shrank to minutes and heartbeats. The doctor's words hit hard. "Mild heart attack." "You're lucky it wasn't worse." Jaxel paled. Lily held tight, fighting tears. The fear she'd always hidden, the fear of losing him, rose like a tide. "You need to slow down," the doctor warned. "Rest. Change your pace. Take this seriously." Jaxel nodded, silent. Lily helped him home, made soup, and watched over him as he slept. She checked his meds, kept meetings away, and learned every sign of distress. At night, she curled around him, listening to his breath, heart pounding with gratitude and fear. One evening, Jaxel woke to find Lily staring at him, eyes red from crying. He reached for her. "Hey, I'm okay." She shook her head. "You scared me." He pulled her into his arms, holding her close. "I'm sorry. I should have listened." Tears spilled. "I can't lose you. You're my whole world." He stroked her hair, voice choked. "You're not going to. I promise, Lily. I'll take better care of myself, so I can take care of you." She nodded, pressing her face into his chest. "We'll do it together." Recovery was slow. Jaxel learned to delegate at work, trusting Lily to lead in his place. She rose to every challenge, managing crises, building trust with the board, guiding the team through new projects. Staff who once doubted her now sought her advice. Jaxel rested, healing in body and spirit. Some days he was frustrated, angry at his own limits, but Lily never lost patience. She reminded him that strength wasn't always about pushing forward. Sometimes it was about accepting help. In those quiet weeks their marriage deepened. They spent afternoons reading, talking about everything and nothing. Lily drew him out of his darker moods with laughter and love, never letting him sink too deep. Their nights were gentler but no less passionate. Jaxel learned to love slower, to savor every touch, every sigh. Lily cherished the intimacy, the sense that every night together was a gift. Sometimes she'd wake in the dark and listen to his breathing, gratitude blooming inside her. When Jaxel was cleared to return to work, the office threw a quiet celebration. He stood beside Lily, hand in hers, addressing the staff with gratitude. "I've learned the hard way that none of this matters without the people you love. I wouldn't be here without Lily. She led, she cared, and she taught me that real strength is asking for help." Applause filled the room. For the first time, no one whispered. No one questioned their place. Lily hugged him, tears shining in her eyes. "I'm so proud of you." He grinned, squeezing her waist. "I'm proud of us." At home that night, Jaxel cooked Lily dinner. They ate by candlelight, laughter echoing around the kitchen. He toasted her with wine, his voice steady and sure. "To us, Lily, for surviving the hard days and loving even harder." She touched her glass to his, eyes shining. "To second chances, and to choose each other every day." They ended the night tangled together, bodies warm, hearts stronger than ever. Later, lying in the dark, Jaxel whispered, "Thank you for saving my life." Lily traced his jaw, love overflowing. "Thank you for trusting me. That's all I ever wanted." He kissed her slowly and deeply, the kind of kiss that says, "No matter what life brings, we'll face it together." The big test hadn't broken them. It made their love unbreakable. Years slipped by, each one deepening the roots of Lily and Jaxel's love. Their world changed, but the bond between them only grew stronger, weathered and warm, unbreakable and real. Lily moved through the office with confidence. Her name was respected, her work trusted. She mentored new hires, taught leadership seminars, and became the voice others sought out when they needed wisdom. No one saw her as the boss's wife now. She was a leader in her own right. Jaxel, silver now turned to white, approached every day with new gratitude. He took more time off, traveling with Lily to quiet beaches, mountain cabins, and hidden cafes in distant cities. They lived for long weekends, lazy mornings, and slow, sunlit afternoons. At home, their life was a testament to partnership. They cooked together, read together, argued, and made up, always circling back to forgiveness and laughter. Their apartment was filled with plants, books, and music, evidence of a life built, not bought. The fire between them never faded. Their love became a dance, sometimes slow and tender, sometimes wild and breathless. Lily still found herself blushing at his touch, and Jaxel, no matter how. Many years passed, looked at her like she was the miracle that saved him. On their 5th anniversary, Jaxel surprised Lily with a quiet dinner on the same rooftop where he'd proposed. The city twinkled below, but the only world that mattered was the space between them. He took her hands, rings gleaming in the candlelight. "If I could do it all again, I'd choose you sooner. I'd love you even harder, even longer." Lily pressed her lips to his, smiling against his mouth. We still have forever to get it right. They danced under the stars, bodies close, hearts in sync. Every scar, every challenge, every hard-won moment of happiness became fuel for the fire that kept them together. Lily started a foundation to help young women build their own futures. She visited colleges, spoke to students about resilience, independence, and never letting anyone define your worth. Jaxel supported her every step, proud of the woman she'd become. At home, evenings were for slow dinners and shared stories. Some nights they'd fall asleep on the couch, limbs entwined, television humming softly. Other nights, desire would spark, pulling them to the bedroom, reminding them that passion has no age. They made love with the trust that only years bring. No nerves, no masks, only complete acceptance. Jaxel never stopped adoring Lily's body, and Lily loved the security of his embrace. Their intimacy was the anchor of their lives, a touchstone through every season. One morning, Lily sat by the window, sunlight on her face, Jaxel beside her, reading. She turned to him, voice soft. "Did you ever think you'd have this? Us, this life?" He closed his book, considering. "No, I thought I was too old, too broken. But you showed me what's possible." She took his hand, their fingers fitting together like always. "You healed me too, Jaxel. I found myself with you." He smiled, pulling her into his arms. "That's what love is, Lily. Not saving each other, but walking side by side, healing as we go." Years from now, Lily would remember the hardest days, not as reasons to be afraid, but as proof that love endures. She'd remember how Jaxel looked at her, even when his hair was white and his steps slower. She'd remember laughter and tears and every soft moment between. At the end of every day, as they curled together beneath their blankets, Lily whispered the truth she'd always known. "I fell for a man twice my age. He taught me that love can be gentle and hot at the same time. And every day, we prove them all wrong." Jaxel would answer, as always, with a kiss. "I love you, Lily. Forever isn't long enough." Their story, sensual, slow-burning, real, became a lesson for everyone who watched. Trust your own heart, not the world's opinion. Real love is built on respect, trust, and patience, not age or wealth. Never be afraid to choose happiness, even if it means breaking the rules. Stand by your partner when the world doubts you. Age gaps don't matter. Kindness, trust, and intimacy do. And for Lily and Jaxel, there was never an end, only a lifetime of choosing each other, again and again. If this story moved you, let your voice be heard. Like, share, and subscribe for more stories about real love, where every heart has a second chance. Comment below. Would you risk everything for the love that truly sees you? Thank you for watching Mr. Leonardo Stories. See you at the next one.